Whoa, 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 whoa. I am live with Drew, the creator and writer and mastermind of Captain Love. How's everybody doing today? How you doing, Drew?
I'm doing all right, man. Hey, I am grateful to be here. It's been a long time since I've actually been on your channel, like, interview style. I've popped in once or twice, when you're doing those off the chat, or
Sure.
from the DM rooms. But yeah, this is. I mean, you're like one of the first people that had me on when I started coming around Comicsgate, and
Oh yeah.
so so it's
And
it's
this
it's
is
fitting.
and this is just the first this is the second Captain Love book.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember when a couple of months ago when you're just working on the first one. Let's say hi to the chat. The chat rocks. Rocket Simp is here. Rocket Simp, no. Waiting for the postman. The postman has arrived. From Liddy D to Adam Post Malone. What a day, Dr. Crow. Liddy D is my nickname for literature devil. And
Ah.
yeah, the chat likes it. I've been on his channel a couple of times. He's great if you've never been on his channel before.
I just
Definitely.
messaged him actually
Oh,
again.
good.
Oh yeah.
Tell him Adam Post says hi.
I shall.
If that doesn't scare him away, it will scare him to you. Doomsday Kingdom fan community, another cool, great participant in the Comicsgate gang. Doomsday Kingdom is a graphic novel that's going to be coming out soon from Ronnie and Jim. They have a very cool zombie project. We did it on here, and I was on their channel just the other night. It was great. Ronnie is a great guy.
That's the one you were talking about before you came on my show to talk about your book, right? That you were hanging out with them.
I don't know. Who knows? That was minutes ago.
Right.
Time goes fast.
Yeah.
Zofrats recognizes the one and only true Adam. That is right. You must sign the petition to remove us from Adam Friended and Adam AF. Or we may have a crossover, Secret Adam Wars. We're talking about that. Me and Adam AF talk about that every now and then. God knows what his last name is. He probably doesn't either.
I do.
Doomsday. Yeah, don't tell anybody. It's probably a secret. Doomsday fan community is with us. Dry Designs. Very Gilbert and Sullivan. Yeah, well, that's how we do it. Eric Brand, great to see you around. Eric Brand is always saying hi on Wangcast. Awesome with the super chats, being part of the game. Johnny Rando, which Johnny? Just some Johnny Rando. And the rest of you guys. Doomsday says this. I'm just a fan of Ronnie and James and Pal. Psyched to read College of the Dead. Yeah, you're going to like it. I definitely want your feedback when you get it, Doomsday. That'll be awesome. And Dr. Crow says time moves app 1 per second. All right. Well, I don't know what that means, but it's got to be good. And Deuce Do. War campaign to the end. Hail Comicsgate. Hail War campaign. Hail Deuce Do. Hail David Feed. Yes, David Feed, another talented artist. Another guy we got to connect with. So many incredible, talented people. And of the talented people that I know, we are focusing right now on the amazing, the super talented Drew Ish and Captain Love, Rise of the Pirate King.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Drew, do you want to start with a quick pitch on what the Pirate King is about, or the Captain Love Rise of the Pirate King is about, or do you want to hit up the trailer? I like the music in the trailer. I know, maybe just be me, but it's up to you, brother.
Well, why don't we play the trailer and then we can follow that up with the fill-in pitch stuff because the most of the pitch actually exists in the trailer itself.
All right, we're gonna hit it, guys. Get ready for some cool custom music.
Hi, my name is Drew Ish, and I'm the author of the Captain Love series. Well, I'll tell you all about the second book, Rise of the Pirate King. Yeah, that's the thing. And in this book, you're gonna get everything that you would expect from Captain Love. Yeah, you bet. And I'm blessed enough to be able to use the same creative team. You know what I mean? If you feel like the universe is caving in, you need love to the rescue. And it seems like nothing will be right again. You need love to the rescue. Captain Love to the rescue. All right now. Now, Captain Love is a space trucker and a former war hero. There is even a legend that he may be immortal. He is accompanied by Spade, who's a living AI. Yes, I said immortal. As in he cannot die, and if it feels like the universe is caving in, you need love to the rescue. And it seems like nothing will be right again. You need love to the rescue. Yeah, love to the rescue. Captain Love to the rescue. All right now. In this book, you'll get space pirates, sexy girls and science monks. There'll be bar fights, space battles, and a lot of awesome junk.
Whoa.
There's nudity and violence and swearing within, so this book is mature. That means it's not made for children. And if it feels like the universe is caving in, there'll be love to the rescue. Yeah, and it seems like nothing will be right again. You need love to the rescue. Captain Love to the rescue. Captain Love to the rescue. Captain Love to the rescue. Thank you so much for your time. Please back Captain Love. The book is going to be awesome. Rise of the Pirate King is just the second in an adventure heading forward for many books. Thank you for your time.
Cool, Drew.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Yeah. It's I kind of wanted to sing back up a little bit there. You know, the part of the that's part of the hook on this thing.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I've noticed, that like when you have something really catchy and people feel inspired to want to sing along, you know what I mean? That means that you definitely have a hook. I mean, just songwriting goes, it's like when people feel inspired to sing along, you definitely have established a hook. So I think I got a good winning theme song for Captain Love. So
yeah, well, that's what it takes when we're doing our projects. We put everything out that we got. So whatever skills that you see, it's going to be on the page. So tell us more about the story for Captain Love, Rise of the Pirate King.
All right, so like those of you familiar with Captain Love, you know, he's a space trucker, war hero. He has, you know, a backstory, which is the first book. If you want to catch up, and again, the first book's available in demand right now. You buy it today, it will ship probably today. If you buy it this morning, because I haven't shipped them out yet. But if you buy it later today, it'll ship out tomorrow. The story itself, it basically, the adventures begin in this book. And this particular book, it starts out, chapter 1 starts out with the space pirates pretty much trying to take out Captain Love. And he doesn't know why. You know, it's like that, you know, he there's a lot of reasons probably in his mind, like they could be wanting to kill him. But he doesn't know the specific one. It's just kind of, it's weird.
Why now?
Yeah, why? What did I do this time? You know, kind of thing. You know, and so we get a whole different angle on, you know, the same characters, the same, you know, hauler, all the same things, same art, of course, because it's the same illustrator, same colorist, so it's completely the same feel. And so, like, if you felt like, okay, when you finish reading the first book, because it basically tells you now this is, you know, who our character is, the adventures are going to begin. You know, this is the book that, you know, that you jump right into it. The adventures, and basically they're working. He's you know, doing hauling and I don't want to like do any spoilers because I really want to excite people with the story. But so basically, the Dark Figure is the title of the chapter. The Dark Figure is obviously the new Pirate King, but you don't know who he is. He's secretive. He tries to be mysterious, you know, and he is ruthless to the core. I mean, he has no feelings of anything other than utter domination. So
that's my kind of king.
Yeah.
Well, I thought about that before. Like, there was a friend of mine who was doing a science fiction comic, and this is going back maybe 15 years or something like that. And he had this space in their story. They're like, well, it's like the Godfather in space. And I was like, well, my problem with it was just the premise of like, well, there's, you know, how the heck from planet to planet, like their laws are going to vary. Even here, the, you know, laws vary from country to country, and there are some lawless places.
Mm-hmm.
So how the heck can you have crimes in space and things like that? Like who's in charge of all that? But obviously the dark figure is a hell of a bad guy. So he's terrorizing. Basically, his game is the pirate game.
Yeah, basically he organized the pirates. That's basically how he became the pirate king. Is he took, I don't want to, again, no spoilers, don't want too much, but he used all his existing resources and combined that with the pirates as the military leg, because if you're familiar with like pirate stories in general, that they all have their own internal dynamics. You have the quartermaster who pretty much runs everything. The captain's kind of almost like usually he's a good leader, but he's usually a kind of a loose cannon as well. And so like everybody kind of organizes around a quartermaster, and that's kind of usually how a pirate scenario operates. However, what he has done is he's like gone and taken like all these individual little pirate groups and coordinated them together, gave them better resources, better food, better establishment, a place to call home, you know what I mean? And has built, a massive pirate army,
Cool.
So, yeah.
Cool. And he provides them some kind of protection and, resources if they need it and all that other jazz.
He does provide them a lot of things that they would not get otherwise. Yeah.
I mean, the reason I'm asking is I'm thinking of joining. I'm like, it doesn't sound all that bad, It doesn't. Right. Hey, Violet, always great to see you. Violet, thank you for what you probably already did twice today or something, because Violet's always sharing streams. Violet's fantastic. Huge part of Comicsgate.
Yeah,
the Pirate King. I know. Don't you guys think about maybe who in the? Oh no, it was going really well up until this point. Jabba the Cuck. Jabba the Cuck. We were having a great pirate vibe, Jabba. Why do we have to work? Does the Pirate King have to work for Jabba? That is the question.
No, the Pirate King works for no man.
Okay.
Again, I'm going to try and say this without spoilers. The Pirate King has gone through like some serious stuff, you know what I mean, and then has like major connections. So he was already a very powerful individual before he even engaged with the pirates, you know what I mean, but he's very secretive. He's very like nobody knows he's even there.
Yeah. Okay, so it could be me. It's possible.
It could be Adam Post, really. Yes. Thank
you for joining us, Jabba. Doomsday is asking, is Han Solo similar to Captain Love in any way?
There is so much Han Solo in Captain Love because, well, that's because Han Solo is my favorite mythos character from all platforms across the board. Han Solo was always my favorite.
He was so cool. Han Solo was so cool.
If you could see around my office, you would see that I have probably, maybe like a half dozen or more Millennium Falcons.
Wow.
Like I have this little one here that comes, die cast, still in the box. I have this full size one.
So you captured some of that Han Solo energy.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Wow, Doomsday. I've known Drew a while. I never heard that asked and answered that way. So that's a very penetrating question. If anybody else has any awesome questions like that, or Doomsday has another one, let's go with that.
Like, so if you were going to wonder, like the main characters that inspired Captain Love, I would have to say Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers.
Oh, here's another that ties in with another question.
Yeah.
So David, when I'm going to get to what Dr. Crow just said, honored to have you with us, Doctor. Feels like heavy metal in space, but with a male lead. Yeah, it's kind of heavy metal-ish.
Yeah, in fact, heavy metal is probably the if I was to pick any book genre, you know what I mean, to target as the inspiration for the artwork and the style of writing and whatever, it would be actually heavy metal. That's so you guys are nailing it as far as
these guys are. This you guys are better at this than I am. I gotta admire you. Moot Point asks Captain Adam Sparrow. Oh, he's talking about me. Yeah, well, maybe, possibly. I don't know. We'll see. I'll work on that one. Yeah, Solo is a legend. Is Captain Love like Flash Gordon serials? If so, I must support it.
Captain Love is going to be serialized like Flash Gordon, and Flash Gordon is one of my favorites from reading. I actually have a hard time getting my hands on a copy of Flash Gordon because I don't believe they haven't been doing the series for a long time. So it's actually difficult to get my hands on them, and I don't like to buy them online because I've gotten reprints that way. People who have just like printed it off their own printer and shipped it out as if it was an actual comic book. So it's like one of those things where where it's like I just want to get my hands on more because I love Flash Gordon. But I loved most about the Flash Gordon ones is that the artwork was so imaginative. You know what I mean? It was like
what they did with what they had was incredible.
Well, I mean, considering when the lack of influential material when they created those books, I mean, it's not like they had vast CGI generated sci-fi movies that they could have watched when they were children. No, there was virtually nothing. All they had was a few sci-fi books, some sci-fi artwork, and a few shows to go off of for their inspiration while they were working on this. So they had to really pull that stuff out of nowhere. You know what I mean? And I think that's awesome. I think that's probably why it was the most original, is because it was not based on anything that pre-existed as far as look and feel. And I think that, and if you think about it, it really established a lot of things moving forward. Both Buck Rogers and Flash Gordon kind of defined the way sci-fi looked, like in general, not just in comic books, but also like in the first, black and white movies that came out, the first black and white TV, to the color and all that kind of stuff. It's all really kind of influenced by the original Flash Gordon and Buck Rogers comics.
Is Flash Gordon still copyrighted? Do we know that?
I do not know. I would have to look into that, actually. I would assume, considering how old it is, it's probably not.
Some aspects of it must be public domain, but maybe recent reversion, like the 1980s movie, is obviously still copyrighted by whoever made it, but the inspiration.
Yeah, well, yeah, movies don't go into public domain for a long time.
Yeah. Drew, I didn't know that Lucas created Star Wars based on Flash Gordon.
I actually did not know that either. So
Doomsday seems to know his stuff, but we have to.
Yeah, I actually have to. I would love to look into that more. That's going to be one of those things I'm going to Google later today.
Very cool.
The Flash Gordon movie, the first Flash Gordon movie, came out right after, or right. Let's see, the Sam Young movie was 1980. And then Star Wars was 77, right? So it would have been after if it was the movie wise. So
this guy always cracks me up. Commandonator. Lucas has many inspiration. This is true. Yeah, he always like speaks in Arnold Schwarzenegger accent and always cracks me up every time because I used to do that all the time myself. On Twitter, on YouTube, wherever. So always great to see you. Rocket Simp, thank you for getting both. That's very cool. When does something expire? Oh, the copyright. Somebody's giving us copyright information. One of our legal representatives. King Feature still owns the copyright. When does it expire? Well, we'll have to see. We will have to see. Yeah. Kirk Lindo, my old buddy and new buddy. Great looking comic. Just shared the stream. Thanks, Kirk.
Thank you. Yeah, the comic, I have an amazing artist who the only thing I have two complaints about him, and they're like not even bad complaints. One of them is I wish he would draw faster. You know what I mean? I really wish he would draw faster so that I could provide the book at a higher pace. I would love to be able to do, six chapters a year. I'd like to be able to do at least a whole book a year. You know what I mean? I would love to be able to do that. And right now at his pace, we're pretty much going to be able to do a book every 2 years. You know what I mean? Roughly, because of his pace. But that's kind of acceptable. You know what I mean? Because the artwork is really, really good. And, he's getting paid.
Oh yeah. People like your, people like the whole look and the whole feel of what Captain Love is. You can't go change it around artists. So, if he was doing all the coloring, for example, of course you could break away the coloring.
Right. But I already have a colorist. All he does is he digitally does the pencils, and then he goes, and they're very rough. and then he goes back and does it all in ink. So
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes,
and it's amazing. It's really good
Shimmers.
work. I mean, it's like I mean, every day, you know, I mean, every day for years now. I mean, shoot, he's been my artist for over 2 years. So, you know, like pretty much every day we've been, you know, he sends me a pencil page or an inked page or asks me a question about something like that. Seven Samurais.
What do you think of Star Wars equals Flash Gordon plus Seven Samurai?
I think that makes a lot of sense because there's a huge samurai influence in the way that Star Wars works. Like the whole stormtroopers thing is very German military, but it's also very samurai approach as far as
the hats and all that.
Yeah, and then the costumes is totally samurai, and then the whole lightsaber thing is very very samurai inspiration. You know what I mean? So I would say that Lucas probably drew on like anybody who does art. You know what I mean? They draw on all their resources available to them. I would say that those influences, considering how they existed, were probably very strong influences. You know, and I don't think he measured it out as much as he just went with what he liked. You know
Anything that's in a genre that we are interested in as creative people probably obviously influences us in some way.
Right.
Like great science fiction is going to influence any science fiction stuff we're going to do.
And everybody's going to be a little different. Like I'm a huge physics nerd.
Oh yeah, you are. You're crazy with that stuff.
So yeah. So because of that, my world has to exist within at least a large degree of reality. You know what I mean? So it's not like, you know, people are doing crazy, unrealistic stuff. You know what I mean?
Did you get involved in the ship? Kirk's got an eye for stuff like this. Did you get involved in the ship design, or did you just kind of leave it up to the artist?
No, actually, the ship design I was involved in a lot.
Drew is a physics nut, like hard science physics nut. So Drew tell you that, you know, essentially the ships work. Let's just put it that way.
No, it would actually. It's very practical.
Yeah, I know you. Travel. I know you. Yeah.
So the ship itself. People compare it to like the Winnebago from Spaceballs, and that is a little tongue in cheek. There is some of that there, but it's a little tongue in cheek. But it wasn't starting out that way. That wasn't like on purpose. It was kind of added later to be a little tongue in cheek. But basically, it's a huge flying brick with rockets on it that will what do you call it? Basically stretch. There's the word is in my mind is just not coming up. Basically they expanded.
Speaking of mind, what do you think is going around in the mind of the Commandinator? Valerian and Valerian was Lucas' main inspiration for the Millennium Falcon, freezing the handsome. He's got to say that he's handsome. Handsome Han Solo, the Mos Eisley Cantina, etc. That. He's hysterical. I love this guy.
Wow. Valerian is actually a great read. I hated the movie, but I love the comic book. It was a great read. If you guys ever get a chance to read Valerian, get your hands on
like
that.
a European graphic novel series, right? From
I think it was French.
Okay,
French. Yeah, I think so. But it was in English when I read it. So you know.
Wow, people really know their history. It's interesting.
Well, sci-fi movies are a big part of American culture. You know what I mean? And you know, so it's you know, people knowing that kind of stuff is not a surprise to me because I'm a huge sci-fi nerd. Also, I mean, you know, I grew up with Star Trek. You know, I mean, Star Trek was made in 1965, the original series. So that's the same year my older sister was born. And so my father was really, really into it. And so it's like, I got to watch that. It's funny because I didn't realize there was only 3 seasons of Star Trek, the original series. I did not know that.
It is kind of amazing. They stopped it and then people loved it.
Yeah, and it was in syndication for, you know, so regular that you would see episodes all the time.
Yeah, constantly. You know? God, they made their money off of that one.
Right.
Drew, have you ever heard of this, The Hidden Fortress? I never heard of it. A great Japanese movie that inspired Lucas.
I didn't know that it inspired Lucas, but I have heard of and seen parts of that movie. I have not been able to sit down and watch it yet all the way through because I want to find an English dubbed version because I hate subtitles.
Oh yeah, subtitles kill me. I have to not pay that much attention that I have to read. It's a bit much.
I don't mind subtitles, like if somebody's saying something short in a foreign language in the English movie.
You guys are awesome. Look at this. Wikipedia has a list of influences for Star Wars.
Oh,
wow.
Sweet.
Yeah, I guess stuff like that exists. They didn't even have episode guides back in the day. We published, Kirk was with me at the company. We published episode guides of Star Trek and Green Hornet and a few other things. And basically, we just describe what happened in the episode and some art related to the episode. And those sold very well because back 400 years ago, they didn't have, even episode lists with episode descriptions.
Well, it's amazing. People, if you look at how things have changed over the years, you can kind of measure how people would react to stuff. And it's actually an interesting way to approach business if you want to do like high level analysis, because we have so much data now from from print media all the way to online media, to where we have regulated and unregulated content. You can actually sit back and judge how a project would do based on its merits. Obviously promotional, that kind of stuff is not that's a factor that you can't quantify.
There's always going to be an X factor, and that X factor is going to be the multiplier.
Right. Exactly. But you can quantify what would go over well nowadays. So,
Kirk, we have to, instead of telling him about the Star Trek comics that I did, Kirk did them with me. Going back to the Captain Kirk biography, we're going to have to show you guys. We'll do collections or something like that. So much work to be done. So many comics to be published. So much work to do.
Yeah, there's actually a huge market for what we do. I mean, even this whole crowdfunding thing, it's like I am constantly running into people who have never even heard of people crowdfunding comics. You know what I mean? It's like, really, people crowdfunded comics? It's like, yeah, basically crowdfunding is a way to go.
It's amazing. You can do anything with crowdfunding now. One more thing about it. All right, so this is kind of funny. So with the Star Trek comics that we did, yes, we did William Shatner, but we went all the way through the cast because they kept making money. We were like, who else could we do? We did Ricardo Montalban. We did Bruce Hyde, who's like one of the most minor Star Trek people ever. We did a whole series of New Crew, which was the next generation.
Right.
We called it New Crew, but from Whoopi Goldberg, Jonathan Frakes, even Brent Spiner, just the whole crazy cast. And then we kind of would redo them and repackage them. They just always kept selling. Star Trek stuff sold forever.
Yeah, and it still will, because until J.J. Abrams completely destroys the franchise.
Kirk did Luxura right after he and I weren't working together anymore, because Kirk went to start his own company with my encouragement and blessing and much love. And it made an amazing success. But we definitely learned a lot from each other. That's for sure. Still learning from Kirk Lindau. Kirk is helping me on something super special and secret that we're working on.
Ooh, something super special and secret.
Yep. Like a woman, but better. Put it that way.
Oh, so like a love doll, because they want to.
Yeah, we're building girls in my basement. That's what I would like to do. Well, a little more action. It's very exciting to talk to you about. So it's a good thing we don't have Brian with us, our other Brian Kriskow, Six Gun Gorilla, because we would be heavily into movies. He probably knows everything about Hidden Kingdom and all that other stuff.
He is an absolute resource, especially when it comes to monster movies. I mean, he knows his movies, his westerns, his Italian westerns, his old, like foreign films like crazy. The obscure films he's really into, but horror and monster movies, it's almost impossible to stump him. Every time I'm like amazed when I stump his trivia now, because I'm just so used to him like knowing all the facts. It's weird.
Yeah, we were on one horror show together and it went great. We were doing My College of the Dead. We were talking about it. And it was amazing to just hear him talk details, and the chat would ask questions. And is he into sci-fi too?
He is not really into as much sci-fi as he is into the other stuff.
He loves Captain Love, of course.
Yeah.
I know what Cherry 2000 is.
Yes, that's a great movie. Yes.
I know what Cherry 2000 is. I bought a bunch of apocalypse movies, like 50 of them, when I was starting to work on College of the Dead, but also just there's something so interesting to me and imaginative and creative about thinking about worlds in apocalypse situations. So yeah, Cherry 2000 is a great one. There were so many great ones that were black and white movies.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
right
check this
after
out. A lot of people don't realize, like, okay, so when it comes to movie making, there are certain kinds of movies that are very inexpensive to make, right? And there's techniques to doing certain kind of movies that are inexpensive. One of the techniques that a lot of people use is a dystopian society, which means that, you know, it's like pre-apocalyptic, or and the reason why is because you don't have to invent anything new. You just go to a place that's dilapidated and you shoot there. You know what I mean? And it's already dusty, it's already dirty, it's already broken down and worn out. You know, like right now, Detroit, you know, I mean, you could pretty much throw a stone and hit something there. It'd be great for shooting.
Yeah, it looks like a zombie apocalypse in a lot of the
Right.
places, unfortunately. Although they've cleaned up a lot of it, thank God.
Yeah, zombie movies is the other one, actually. Zombie movies is actually probably the most inexpensive type of movie to shoot. Believe it or not, a zombie horror film, I mean, the biggest expense in that usually is the cast, you know, like feeding them, because a lot of the cast will work for free in a zombie movie. And then the makeup work, the time that's involved in all that. I mean, obviously renting the equipment and all that kind of stuff for expense, but that's basically all the budget is based on, you know, making sure you have people there on time to get it hammered out. But yeah, zombie movies are amazingly inexpensive. You know, it's especially if you have people who are talented, so it doesn't take forever to get done. You know what I mean? Just hammer it out really fast, and it's super easy because the dialogue in a zombie movie is very minimal.
It can be pretty limited. Doomsday has a really interesting question, and that I hadn't even thought to ask you. Again, everybody, Doomsday, you're gonna like kick me out of my job here, but that's all right. Keep doing it. How long has Captain Love been in the works? Because this is not even the first book, and that first book was you must have spent years on that.
Yeah. So okay. So the timeline of Captain Love. About 6 years ago, I was jumping off of YouTube. I was doing a comedy channel, and then most of my energies, as far as production stuff, was focused on, you know, making people laugh. And I was doing a lot of behind the scenes work for other people on YouTube and all over. But then YouTube pretty much took a big hit. They reshifted the way they organized stuff. They did the huge ad revenue cutbacks and stuff.
Adpocalypse or something.
They call it adpocalypse. There's like 3 actual like YouTube apocalypses. There's, you know, the adpocalypse is the most well known.
And that was basically where they just cut the advertising that they were paying out for views, like by what, 80% or something.
Well, what they did is that advertisers were complaining about the quality of their advertising. The advertisers were complaining about the quality of their advertising. They weren't getting a bang for their buck. There was car people, you know, car dealerships who were getting ads put on videos that was just for kids. You know what I mean? Nobody cares about the Ford video if they're all under 13. You know what I mean? Or all under 17.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like,
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that you can kind of relate to. You'd be like, yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
You're paying advertising. You want it to sort of relate somewhat to the audience.
Right. So they reshifted the whole way everything works, and because of that, channels that were not popular or not focused to a certain demographic lost a lot of ads, and then people like channels that were not as well focused, you know what I mean, were getting ads, but they would get like 5-minute ads placed on them for, you know, like an energy drink or something, you know what I mean, and then like halfway through the ad, it would just go into like one big link, you know what I mean? So that everybody would always click through it, so that the person who was running the ad would get the discount. They still get their brand across, but then they would, because the ad was skipped, they would, you know what I mean? So there was things like that in the mix because of how they did the reorganization and shifting, and it cut back everybody's revenue so much. And then some creators made a lot more because they were focused. Their channels were focused so that they got regularly targeted higher dollar ads, you know. So
interesting.
Yeah. But usually, you know, the ads would more focus towards the brands and stuff, like, you know, Jimmy Kimmel, Sports Illustrated, those kinds of things. People would target towards those kinds of things, and it wasn't as random, you know what I mean? You know, so it was a little bit more controlled. And I mean, it's smart business. What they did was smart business for them. It didn't help their creators any.
Yeah, it just hurt the channels, and I guess for them, there were always more creators.
Well, yeah, the reason why it hurts creators a lot, not just because obviously they're not making the revenue, but because it's like, okay, so there's a lot of creators out there that were just kind of winging it. You know what I mean? They were just doing vlogs or just talking about their own life. You know, they were trying to build a channel.
Sure.
And you know how hard it is to build a YouTube channel. It's a lot of work. So you
Yep.
have to balance the work towards the reward. And if you're not getting any reward at all, you know, or you go from where you were getting a lot more reward to no reward, you know what I mean? Like my revenue went from $2,000 to $50, you know what I mean, during that time period.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And that's because my videos were shorter. All of them were less than 10 minutes long. So they all got requalified. Because they're all under 5 minutes long. So they were like way requalified because it's the people, you know what I mean? So because my whole format was designed for the short hit comedy, you know what I mean? I got 1-2 punched on the adpocalypse, and a lot of channels, you know, were in relatively the same kind of situation. Most of the comedy channels were. Yeah.
Just a side question, because I think I know the answer to this, but I want to make sure we represent correct. Dr. Crow says, I like what I see: laser, space battles, explosions, hot girls. Loving it.
Yes,
that's what we do here.
Yes,
that's the brand. That plus Han Solo. How could you go wrong?
Yeah. Space Hunter Adventures.
Very cool.
Yeah. So you see there the Vinny cover, right? That Vinny.
Yeah, I zeroed in
out of the park on that, didn't he?
Yeah. So Vinny T, creator of City of Venus, Through the Woods, his beautiful art books. He did this for you. He doesn't just do covers for everybody. I know he's a busy man. That's a beautiful variant cover. And you already sold the original art. That's great.
That was the first thing to sell on the campaign.
I'm not surprised.
Everybody was telling me you should have sold it for more. I'm like, well, okay. It's like it's too late now.
Maybe next time. Well, $550. That's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's I figured that was, you know, that wasn't asking too much, but you know, Vinny was all like, you know, I should have asked for more, and a bunch of other people were like, I should have asked for more. I think it's because, you know, all those people didn't get a chance to get it. So
well, it's pretty rare, and Vinny isn't selling his art usually, you know, too often.
There's not too much original Vinny art out there. There's really not. So
somehow I feel like this is related to me. Zombies will work for brains. Yes, we will. We will. I'll work for brains too. College of the Dead also doing really well. Excited about that.
So there is one thing I want to bring to everybody's attention.
Yeah, hit it up, brother.
There's something I'm doing that hasn't been done yet in Comicsgate or in crowdfunding platforms at all that I'm aware of. And that is I'm doing kind of a subscription style model for this book.
Oh yeah, your executive producer tier is very interesting.
Right. Yeah. So
this one's just really simple to answer this question. Robert, 2 things to answer your question. 2 suggestions I have. One, there's a guy who has a comics channel called How to Draw Comics. If you put it in YouTube, it's howtodrawcomics.net. Very experienced character designer, so he talks about all the artwork stuff. And I have a series called Secrets of the Comicsgate Network on this on a playlist with like more than 30 videos, and that talks about the publishing aspect. For the writing aspect, I would look for Professor Geek. He's got a cool writing channel. I love that guy, and we're working on something together. Because he's amazing and he's great to work with. But yeah, I want to talk about this executive producer tier. I did think that was very original. Thank you. And that is your featured tier, right?
Yes, that's the featured tier.
All right, be an executive producer, damn it. All right, what is the executive producer of Captain Love?
Okay, so because of the overwhelming costs of doing these campaigns, and I don't have enough of a following to guarantee that I can pay for a complete graphic novel off of one campaign. I had to do this in small bites. And the other reason why is I can get story to people on a more regular basis. So
yeah, I like how you're breaking it up. So this book, how many pages is this book? 32 or
no? So the chapters are going to be between 24 and 32 pages. So chapter 1 is actually 24 pages of story.
Excellent.
Chapter 2 is actually going to be 24 pages of story, but there's going to be longer chapters throughout the thing. So the book itself is going to be between 144 and 160 pages, depending on where we fall in that last story. where we fall in that last little thing. Now it won't be, it'll be closer to 160, 170 pages printed because there's going to be a lot of little extras in there. So it's going to be a very, very healthy graphic novel. So everything across the board here is going to be original collector's items. There's going to be 6 chapters and a final graphic novel. And then obviously the 6 chapters will be presented together in the graphic novel format. But you're going to have 2 different presentations. If people know comic books, you realize that Staple Stitch gives you a full flat layout presentation where you can see everything together. Whereas a graphic novel, that presentation has got a gutter. So the part that where the Staple Stitch, you do lose a part of the visuals that go right down the center.
Oh yeah.
You know, a lot. That's one of those things that
detail.
Yeah, it's a little production detail that's important when it comes down to, you know, enjoying a story. So you understand that both of those things exist. So I'm doing each chapter. I'm having it done and finished before I do a campaign for it. All right, and then so there's going to be 7 total campaigns here. There's going to be
excellent. So this 24-page book, this story and art, this is already done.
This is done. This is done, and it'll ship by July. It'll ship by July, and then chapter 2, it actually is already in the coloring process. It's more than half illustrated, and the first half of the book is already with the colorist, and I've already got the first 4 pages back from him. So that's already chapter 2. By the time we actually fulfill chapter 1, chapter 2 will probably be close to done, and then
excellent.
When chapter 2 is finished, I'm going to launch a campaign for chapter 2, and chapter 1's campaign will be in demand briefly, maybe a month or 2, but then it's gone. You know what I mean? And then I'm not going to keep it in demand for a long time. Chapter 1 doesn't stay in demand. The first book, Hero of the Cleansing, will be in demand until I'm out of the books. And when I'm out of the books, then I'm going to probably do a second printing, and then I probably won't be doing a campaign anymore for that because I won't be doing the variant anymore. I won't be doing, you know, other things. So those things will become kind of more of exclusive collector's items at that point. And I'll probably have the book available on Amazon in the second print run format, because again, people have to have it, and I want to get it out to as many people as possible. I don't want to just say, okay, this is the tight little group that gets the book and nobody else.
Sure, share the love with the world needs love.
Right. So you know, but I'm not going to do first run on Amazon. It's going to be only second run
printing.
Books. Second printing. So the first,
that's cool.
So you can't get, you know, you can only get the first run either in person from me, you know, from one of the local comic book shops that I've actually put it in, and those don't have exclusive Indiegogo numbering. So like if the first book has hand stamped gold numbers on them from the number that they leave. So like if you're a backer, there's people like Adam here sitting here has book number 1 of the original. So like when this becomes a very, very, very famous property, he's going to have the absolute most valuable book there is. Just so you guys
book
know.
1. So it's handwritten on the back, which is very cool.
Yeah, it is.
So being an executive producer is kind of being on the inside of the production process.
Well, so being an executive producer means that you're going to get each chapter. It's like backing on every campaign all at one point. And so you're getting a big fat discount financially to do it all at once. But you're going to get 7 packages. So every campaign will end, and you're going to get the chapter that goes with that campaign and all the stretch goals that go with that campaign. Just
very cool.
Like so even if like you don't bother to back on chapter 2 at all, right? You're still gonna get chapter 2 and all the stretch goals if you're an executive producer. So, and same thing with chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5, chapter 6, and the final book itself. All the stretch goals and those books will all come to you already to the same address that is obviously if you change your address, remember to update it. The same address on Indiegogo that goes to this executive producer tier. So you're basically crowdfunding the book, you know what I mean, at that point.
Yeah, the whole step.
The whole thing. But it's more descriptive to actually be like a subscription model. It really is a subscription model with all the extras that come with it. Plus, there's going to be a thank you page for executive producers, and your name will appear on that page.
Yeah, you've sold 23 of them, so that's gone over well.
I've also sold a whole bunch of them off of secret tiers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but then obviously that doesn't show in front because they were secret tiers. You know,
Yeah,
the people that
That's
sign up on the
excellent.
mailing list got a 10% discount on
People
that.
people like you and they trust you, brother. And you definitely earned it. You shipped your first book, so people know you're serious.
Yeah, and
And
they're
I
gonna
like how you have all this done now in advance.
in July they're gonna get the chapter 1, and then that's gonna people are gonna be excited about that, and hopefully hopefully this will get momentum. I can't I would be very disappointed if chapter 1 was like the only one that got backing. You know what I mean?
Oh, of course the other one's going to get backing. Yeah,
Right.
no,
So,
it's it's going to continue to grow, just like the first book continued to grow. Is the more that these get released, the people see the books come out, they've heard of it. Sometimes people need to see things, from your marketing background, they need to see things 20, 25 times, and they're like, oh yeah, now I want to buy. So it takes a little while. That's all.
And everybody's got their own way of approaching this kind of stuff. Some people may not be able to afford $100 right now, so they can buy each chapter at the $15 point. Because all chapters, if you notice here, it says here domestic shipping free on all perks, shipping free in the USA. You see that right there?
Yeah.
All these perks,
Included.
If you're in the United States, the shipping price is included. So you click this $15. There's not another $10 waiting to hit you for shipping after that.
Okay, so
that shipping cost is in the 15. So.
All right, so people, if they're not ready for executive producer level, they can get just chapter 1.
They can get just chapter 1. They can get chapter 1 signed. They can get chapter 1 with the Vinny cover on Hero of the Cleansing. The Hero of the Cleansing is the first book, so the Vinny cover is for the first book. You know what I mean? So you can get the first book with this campaign. And again, that should be shipping around July. So, I mean, all I got to do is, the inside is already done. So all I got to do is put the new cover with it, have it reprinted, and then I have been debating how I'm going to approach that. Cause basically that is kind of a bonus. I'm not really like trying to make a severe profit on the variant cover book, So I've been debating on if I was going to try and overrun that or just run whatever is ordered during the campaigns.
Well, obviously, if you overrun, you'll just overrun a few anyway. But it's worth it because there'll be some people that missed it that you want to take care of. You're not going to do 50,000 of or anything like that.
No, but I'm planning to have the variant available across all 7 campaigns. You know what I mean? So
yeah, you need extras, man. Overprinting is good, especially when the quantity goes from 400 copies to more than 400.
It's gonna come down. Yeah, it's gonna be based heavily on how many people order it during this campaign. Yeah.
All right, so we got to sell a lot of these. So chapter 1 plus the volume 1 variant, which is also it's the same interior for these 2 books, right?
Well, no, the same interior for the chapter. The variant cover is Hero of the Cleansing. It's the 72-page first. It's the first book in the series, the one that's currently in demand right now. So that cover is for that first book. Yeah.
Oh, very cool. Okay, so these are 2 different books. So that's your 72. The volume 1 is 72 pages plus the Vinny cover. That's worth getting. Plus chapter 1, which is this new 24-page color book. Okay, so there are 2 different books with 2 different covers. That's very cool.
Right. So and so like if you already bought the first book and you want the Vinny cover, you know what I mean, you can do this. Now, if you want to be an executive producer and get the Vinny cover, you can, because the Vinny cover is there as an add-on. That book. So that's there. Also, if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see there's drawn in the book. That's an executive producer. You just went right past it. That's an executive producer tier. Right, with the drawn in. So if you get drawn in the book, you get the executive producer everything, and then but $75 more, you actually get drawn into the book.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you'll be like somewhere between chapter 3 and chapter 6, obviously.
Okay, yeah,
and then
this one's already done.
And then there's the Ultimate Collector, which has 2 copies of everything, including 2 of the Vinny cover variants in there. So. And that's the $200 tier right there.
Complete collector's package.
Yeah, that one. And then the chapter
5
1,
people went for that. Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that and then one side of those books come signed, and then believe it or not, to become part of the saga here, this is where you work with me to develop a character that's going to exist within the Captain Love universe. So this character will be somebody who makes an appearance in this book, is introduced in this book, and then they will make at minimum a cameo in every book moving forward for the existence of the Captain Love series. Not every chapter, but every graphic novel moving forward, there will be at minimum a cameo of that character. So you will be immortalized for the entire history of Captain Love with the character, and you will get character credit in the back of the graphic novel in every one of those novels moving forward. So
wow,
yeah, it's a major deal. So it's $1,000 to be immortalized. So
yeah,
and somebody got one of those taken already. So
that is cool. I like it. I like these. I like all that drawn in stuff. I think it's really cool. I haven't done it with my College of the Dead, but I'll get around to it eventually because it's just too damn cool. But I like it. I like it a lot.
Well, it wasn't possible drawing anybody into something that wasn't possible with the first book because it was completed when I started my campaign. You know what I mean? It was done. There was no changing it. This one, because I'm doing it in chapters, I'm doing it in bites. I intend to have the chapters done, and then the next chapter well done before I launch a campaign. You know what I mean? So I'm already like well into momentum, so I'm not going to get behind myself.
But you'll still be able to get in there and give people an opportunity if they want to be in it, which is very cool. Doomsday asks, after the first book's released, is it that much easier to get the second one done due to chemistry with the artist drawing writing characters and the dialogue as personalities grow?
You would think so. You would think
you would think it would be like a breeze, but I think it's just that we get to focus on different things.
Yeah. Well, see, what I have found is that the longer somebody draws a character, and this is not just my character, I've heard the same thing from other people. The longer someone's time spends drawing a character, the more they feel attached to that character, the more that they feel ownership around the character. So it becomes every time that you want to change something they think should be a certain way, it becomes a little bit, head buddy. And so it's one of those things that you kind of have to work with your illustrator and your artist with, because, some people are just artists. You know what I mean? They just don't care about the practical world surrounding them. They just want, this is how I like it. This is how I want it. This is how I think it should be. And I'm the artist, so I'm right. That's their approach. It sounds very diva-y, but you'll find that in every field where somebody knows that they're good at what they do, they're going to be a little bit like that in some type of scenario.
Just relationships. It's, artists are creative people by nature. Obviously, if you love their work, it's because they're putting so much energy into it. So everybody you have to have a good fit with the creative people. And what I found, like, we're working on College of the Dead book 3 now, spring break. And I found, the vibe with everybody is just stronger and better than ever, because it's all mutual respect. Everybody knows that everybody's kind of contributing. Paul brought this point up, and I thought that's actually a good point, because I kind of forgot this because I really wasn't in the YouTube game, but I think he does make a good point that there was mainstream media doing hit pieces and stuff on YouTube as YouTube grew and grew. Wasn't there weren't there people that were trying to basically denigrate YouTube channels and come up with a whole bunch of stories? I mean, there've been some crazy ass YouTube channels like
there's a lot of different dynamics. Like, for instance, sorry
to interrupt, but like, for example, Elsa Gate, they left alone,
mm-hmm.
but they went after and accused people of stuff that just was not, it just was not fair or not true.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of stuff like that.
Thanks, Paul.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of like that. And on YouTube, what you'll find is a variety of different things. Very, very rarely is there like organized efforts of any kind. You know what I mean? Because just look at Comicsgate, it's hard to even organize these people who all have a singular focus. You know what I mean?
Somehow there always winds up, like, thank God they don't do it much anymore, but there were all these stupid hit pieces in mainstream media and all that.
Well, yeah, there's always going to be hit pieces, especially if the people think that they're going to get views on it. You know
do we ship to Canada? You do ship to Canada, of course you do, right?
Yes, I do.
You do. I do too. We love Canada.
Yeah.
It's not even that far away.
No, it's not. It's so it's really weird. It's so close and yet so expensive to ship there. Yeah. That's the thing about international shipping now, that I can't do free international shipping, but I do discount the domestic cost. So shipping to Canada will be a lot cheaper than on this campaign than the shipping on another campaign, because the domestic shipping has been deducted from the shipping costs to Canada. So
excellent. Yeah, so it's not so bad.
Yeah, it's not so bad. A lot of people, have struggle with the shipping costs, because every once in a while there's that little outlier country that has extreme shipping costs.
Sure.
Those what I would say is just kind of pad everything a little bit on the general, and then those outlier countries will just get absorbed, because there's not like 20 or 30 of shipments. So there's usually just one or two.
I like this comment from Herrenberg. Subscription idea looks great. Surprised nobody else has thought ahead enough to do it. Also, including shipping and the price is smart as well.
I agree. Thank you. The reason why I do that is I want it to be, I want my pricing model to be competitive with local comic book shops and still be friendly for the Comicsgate model. And the thinking behind that is because people like, well, I'm spending this for the book, and then this is for the shipping and the extras that come with it. I mean, it's like, so they look at it as two prices, and and then if I can put it all together, this is what you're getting. You're getting the book, you're getting all the goodies and the shipping all at one price. So that makes more sense, because you're getting your book bagged and boarded, you're getting it bubble wrapped, it's getting make sure it's getting treated properly to make sure it doesn't get screwed up in shipping. That's a little bit of effort. You know what I mean? And I don't trust a fulfillment service, because I know that a fulfillment service considers themselves 5% loss acceptable. Just so we know, service considers like 5% of your inventory lost as acceptable.
Yeah. It's not the same as you meticulously doing it yourself. It just it can't be.
So I really couldn't do cheaper than 15 for the floppies, but I mean,
there's no, we can't do that yet. We don't have the science together.
Yeah. So at some point, my product will be even more competitive with the LCSs, because once we figure out how to deliver on the shipping more cost effectively, but this day and age, it's just not possible. It's like if you've ordered a book off of Amazon and you've gotten it like screwed up, you know what I mean? You'd know why.
The main thing is with shipping, and I've looked into this a lot for us and for Comicsgate, and the main thing is scale. If you're doing volume, like the big guys that do $100,000 campaigns and things like that, if you do that kind of scale, there's ways of making the shipping be cheaper, and working with fulfillment centers, like giving very high quality and making it more affordable. But until we hit that scale, we're not going to be able to get there just yet.
Scale is the key. In fact, I can do a small
scale meaning volume. Scale meaning volume, guys. That's
right.
But if we're shipping out 1,000 packages, even minimum would be 1,000 packages to be able to make a noticeable difference. And then the problem is, until we do it for a couple of months, it's like becomes consistent. We don't know that we can keep that promise. So you'll find guys like me and Drew are like very careful, because this is so important to us. Like, we're not going to tell you we could do something and not do it. And I'd be like, well, we can offer you this, but we can't deliver. Like, we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
We're very careful about it.
No empty promises, no half-assing. Everything that is said is already thought through and it's going to happen. There's no,
at least on Drew's side, I do my best, but
there's like I actually know that if the money doesn't come in from like all the rest of these campaigns and this is it, I'm still going to be able to make this entire graphic novel on this. However, I'm going to take the hit financially. But the money that comes in is still going to be used to print and ship the books.
You got a lot of executive producers supporting you, and that's helping.
Yes,
that's really helping.
I hope to get a lot more. It would be really not, because again, the executive producer tier is going to exist on all the campaigns, right? However, you got to realize that
there's no reason to make it less expensive. People will just get a little bit less maybe for their money, because they won't be in the first book if they back it at the second book, right?
Right, that's true, and you'll have to wait. That's the thing. You have to wait. You know what I mean? If you want to get the books, like say, for instance, obviously, if you're on the second campaign, if you back executive producer, when that ships, you're going to get a copy 1 and a copy 2 together. You know what I mean? So you're not going to miss out. But other people will be reading copy 1, and you won't be able to get it until so you're going to have to sit maybe 3-4 months. And while everybody else is like, I got my book, I got love, and you don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, you got to realize it's a process. I mean, we got to do with campaigns, the fulfillment, shipping, ordering, all that kind of stuff every time. So it's going to take approximately about, in my mind, I've estimated approximately about 2 years from the time I launched chapter 1, which was, the end of February. Was that right? No, the end of March is when I did it. And then so the next, like the volume, 2 completed graphic novel, all, which would be the 7th campaign of this book, right? I know that seems confusing, but that will.
No, you've got it all planned out, so
yeah, that'll actually.
We don't have to think about it.
Yeah, that'll be almost as long as 2 years from now. You know what I mean?
Commandinator asked a while ago, but since we're getting near to, having been on for an hour, probably a lot of people didn't hear the original elevator pitch. Commandonator. All right, Commandinator.
The Commandonator.
That you could do it like a normal person, or you could do it in Arnold talk, whatever you want. That is the elevator pitch for Captain Love. It macho ladies man like me.
Macho ladies man, that's one way to put it for sure. Captain Love is a space trucker and former war hero who reluctantly finds himself on adventures throughout the solar system that could affect the course of the solar system itself. Now, and how does that happen? Obviously, there's huge supervillains. There is massive disasters waiting. There is espionage. There's all kinds of little things going on throughout the future that Captain Love is going to be associated to. The best analogy as far as like the style of adventures is like compare them to like maybe possibly James Bond, where it's like a variety of different kinds of things that James Bond has to solve, little problems that maybe he goes and has to disrupt it to figure out what's going on, you know what I mean, to deal with it. Stuff like that. That's probably the best association as far as, but it's not James Bond. You know what I mean? It's if James Bond was in the future and he was a trucker, very blue collar and a war hero with a voice in his head, then that would be like James Bond, maybe.
Very cool. Very cool. And Robert Cola says he likes the concrete worlds that's true to their physics. And
yes,
you've definitely committed to making these spaceships work, which is pretty amazing.
Oh yeah. Speaking of the spaceship, the hauler, we never finished on that. So like the hauler is basically a brick with like jets on it. And now because if you understand that space, right, there's no actual like air resistance or anything. So like if you have something moving, if something's moving in space, it's going to move forever in that direction until something interacts on it. You know what I mean? To change its movement, slow it down, speed it up, whatever. It's just going to keep going forever. So you don't really need to have aerodynamics in it very much in space. So it's basically a big, huge brick, and then the rockets that are attached to it extend in and out and are actually like rotatable. So this thing has amazing maneuverability. Like you know what I mean? Like you would get.
Yeah, it can go in any direction.
It can go in any direction. It can turn in a heartbeat. It can spin around and change things. So so considering it looks like a big, huge, flying brick, and it does have some aerodynamic abilities because obviously it does have the ability to land on a planet. You need to have some kind of,
like a van almost.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a lot bigger than a van. I mean, it's 3 stories tall.
Big van.
It's a huge. It's
family van.
It's extremely large. It's much bigger than a Winnebago, Yeah, it's cool. In fact, George Peter Gaddis is working on a 3D model of it right now. I've seen,
excellent.
I cannot wait. I'm going to have at least one printed, and I'm going to try and do. I'm going to try and figure out ways to mass produce Captain Love hauler toys. You know what I mean? So it's going to be. It's going to be one of those things that it's going to start out as a collector's item, and then eventually I'm going to figure out how to get it nice and cheap to where it'll be something that everybody can have. So,
what's I don't know what FTL is, but maybe you do. Do you have FTL in your Captain Love universe?
FTL.
We don't know what FTL is. I guess you have to tell us, David. We can try and check it out.
I could guess what FTL represents. I can Urban Dictionary it.
Force. It might be dirty.
Faster than light travel. That's what he's going after. Faster than light travel. No, light speed has not been achieved. Interstellar travel is not going on. The hauler itself, maximum speed's about a quarter speed of light. So it takes about 30 hours to get from Earth to Saturn on a good alignment. So
still a worthwhile trip.
Yeah.
Really, really cool. Is there anything else we should know about Captain Love?
Just
I'm going to show you something I don't think you've seen before.
Yeah. So as far as Captain Love, what I want everybody to know is that this book is, is something that's well written. It's got amazing art. I've put everything into this. This is as good of any book out there on the market. You know what I mean? It's not just some half-ass indie book. This is not something that's going to slow down. This is a business for me. This is happening. This is more than just a passion project. Obviously, you guys can hear me talking about it. I'm very passionate about it.
For sure.
But this model that I'm doing here is what I'm going to do. Right. So I'm going to be, as long as crowdfunding is available, I'm going to crowdfund for the collectors first. And I'm going to make sure that everybody gets their book and is going to finish. And I'm going to keep doing this forever and ever and ever until.
Yeah, Drew, I wasn't 100% sure what you were doing when you were first offering the executive tiers. But having looked at it, a couple of days afterwards, I was like, oh, now I get it. It's pretty clever. It's pretty good. It's a good set because people can kind of get invested in producing the whole book along with you. And then new people will find out about it. And then other people will get invested in doing the book along with you. Right. And for the people that can't afford it, there's an inexpensive version of it as well. Right. And I like the Vinny cover as well. And I think Vinny gave you a great deal that you can sell that artwork for $50 like that. So I would definitely recommend people check out Captain Love. I mean, this is definitely this is the kind of comics book that we like, where people kind of make it a passion project that they've been thinking about for 10 years and they finally get a chance to do it. And without Comicsgate, it's not possible for me to make my comics. It's I assume it's a little unrealistic to go ahead and just launch comic books these days, the state of the stores. And there's other crowdfunding sites and things like that, but with Comicsgate, we all support each other and learn from each other to make it successful. So
the community, the Comicsgate community is a big noise. And that's the different thing. We're a magnet because of the noise. And we all really need to support each other. And hey, Steve Dye, what's up, brother? So we all need to support each other, and we all need to tell other people about Comicsgate projects. It's so important that we all support each other's YouTube channels. Even though you can't stand someone's channel, you can still subscribe to it. You don't have to watch it. You can still subscribe. Get them a subscriber. Tell people about it. You know what I mean?
Retweet the project, like the project. What difference does it make? I was telling other people this too, Drew, is that if I see that I get 17 retweets on something instead of 14 retweets, it cheers you up every time you see like, oh, cool, this guy's got my back. Like, even if you don't know who the hell that person is, usually you wind up following them because they were cool enough to retweet you, and they click like, and like, even just it's not always about spending money. Money is always really appreciated, but also just resharing streams, like Drew was saying, subscribing to a channel, thumbs up and
getting the word out
to the channel.
Getting the word out is essential. I run into people all the time who haven't heard of Captain Love. Now, I have been around Comicsgate for a while now, right? Captain Love has been a regular campaign thing since October 1st. You know what I mean? That was the first campaign launch, and I've been pushing ever since. You know what I mean? So it's so like in Comicsgate, it amazes me that there'll be people that have not heard of Captain Love, or maybe they think they've heard of Captain Love. And I'm like, really? Then Comicsgate we all need to step it up, because I've been doing this long enough. Anybody who has a campaign that's been doing it for over 6 months, everybody should know who they are at this point. If they don't, we're messing up as a community.
But you know what it is that not everybody, not everybody spends as much time with it, So.
This is true. And when I say everybody knows, I don't mean like the guy that just comes around once in a while. I mean the people that are involved.
Well, I'll tell you, like, I'm going to show you College of the Dead now, because I want to show you this. I don't know if you saw this Narwhal cover. Let me show you.
Is that the one that you did from before? I think I've seen that a long time ago.
Well, yeah, I originally put it out and then I stopped putting it out.
Right. Is that one? Yeah, that's a cool one. Yeah.
Where is that one? I just came up with a name for it the other day. So this is based on his another variant that I did, based on his Earthbound image that's similar to this, and he zombified it so that we could make it college bound. How perfect is that? Earthbound, now college bound.
That's very cool.
I mean, that's lucky. It's lucky. If he had called it something else, like I don't know how it would have translated necessarily in terms of a name. So
and you're like only like 125 from 20K, right?
You know what? We're only at $125 away from 20,000. Anybody who's already backed College of the Dead, and a lot of people haven't, thank you so much for that, can get any other book that they haven't already gotten with free shipping. You just have to message me so I can send you the free link for shipping. And then I will do that. I've done that, and a few people have taken me up on it, which is great. They're all secret links. They're all hidden ninja secret links, of course, that have the free shipping. But otherwise, people too can just back. You know what I did with these variants, which I thought was cool, was I wanted to produce variants. I don't think every comic should have multiple variants, but if it kind of comes together that you have cool ideas, it's like you just do the variants. So we did the variants, and everybody can get them individually if they want to. Same thing happened with the Ashcan book. I had to make an Ashcan book because it's a making of. Oh, you know what? I don't really have them next to me, so I won't run and get it. But I have print. Oh, wait a minute. Here it is. I didn't realize it. The printed prototype for the Ashcan.
Now that's for the second book, right?
That's for the second book. Yeah. So it's got like, do you see the number 1 on the skull for book 1? That's how we differentiate them now. And then number 2 has the 2 on the skull for book 2. And that's the full script and photographs of like all the references that we use to make the original book. And we got the prototype in for the art book. The art book came out amazing again because the art's so freaking beautiful. It's 1 panel per page, 260 pages. So, really, really happy with that. And again, these are books shipping in June. But it's happened that's been really, really cool, and I know you're going to see the same kind of trend with Captain Love, is we were able to sell more copies of the first book this second time around as an extra book along with the second book. So people wind up discovering this series. I can't imagine there were a lot of people that bought College of the Dead book 1 and that are also buying College of the Dead book 1 again, with exactly the same cover. Along with number 2. So it's got to mostly be, new people.
Yeah. What I find interesting is like when somebody goes back and show you. Yeah, and keep going, brother. And buys the Captain Love Hero of the Cleansing book again. I know they've already bought one, from the first campaign, and they go and buy it again from the first campaign, like the same book. And it's like they it's like I'm like they must really like want to just have one to squirrel away or something.
They need a lot of love. They need a lot of love. Drew, I have to show you these. Check this out, man.
All right, yeah.
How do I get full screen?
You click you click your little. Yeah,
I'm supposed to know how to do this already.
Yeah.
Printed prototype.
Sweet.
Printed prototype.
Is that from Mix'em? Is that from Mix'em? Looks like it's Mix'em.
No, it's going. The full run is going to be Mix'em, but this was from Lulu. Okay. From their high-end books. The price is outrageous. There's no way to do these with Lulu.
Right.
Even in quantity. But it's easy to see like how everything comes out and, to know that all the pages are in the right place and the books came out perfect. And
so you got a 6-panel layout on these this time.
That's nice. Exactly. 6 panels, 48 pages, full color, lettered, done, ready to go. It's such an incredible feeling to have like, okay, the books are done. There they are. All the variants.
We definitely need to start planning how we're going to get your first book into a movie. We need to start having those discussions for real.
Movie time. We got to raise some money, and then we'll make a movie.
Yeah.
This is College of Dead book 1. So now I can put College of Dead book 1 next to book 2. It's really, it's so funny. So I sit around I'm home and I'm like, hey, is 1, there's 2. I'm like, oh, this is 2. And then this is the one with this variant. It's like, they really are just fun to play with. And that's like, you know what, if we don't become billionaires doing this, at least we'll have a great time.
I have no interest in being a billionaire. Like money isn't that important to me. The reason why money matters to me is so that I can do things with it. You know what I mean? Like if I was a billionaire, it would be all reinvested in art. You know what I mean?
I think you would make a Captain Love experience, and we'd have like a Captain Love theme park.
Oh, yeah, I would definitely. If there would definitely be a
that question.
It wouldn't be a theme park as much as like an adult beverage bar. You know what I mean? But it'd be very big. It would be a Captain Love, like, like for instance, the bar that's introduced in I don't think we introduced it to actually chapter 2. It's called House of Kronos. It's actually part of the story from way back when I wrote the movie, right? But it's an essential bar. It's one of Captain Love's really important friends, and he frequents a lot more bars now that we're actually doing the story thing. So just so you guys know, there's going to be bar fights and fun stuff like that.
Bar fights are good.
Bar fights are fun. So the Jim, his bar is called House of Kronos, and it's basically a big, huge spaceship that's landed on Titan, and it just sits there on Titan, which is a moon of Saturn, and it, people go there and they land. It's at a landing dock. You land inside the bar, and then you go and I'm an excellent billionaire. It would be nice, you know what I mean? It would be nice to not have to worry about bills. That would be the best part about being a billionaire.
Never having to think about it.
Yeah, is to not have to worry about like how I'm going to scramble and make sure I have enough money to cover everything. Because
I like what Guy from Red Bank says. I want to be a billionaire so I can smoke cigarettes and drink lots of whiskey. We could give a $10 million endowment to Cecil so he can just drink himself constantly.
Yeah, but he would probably like die from
he would
before he got through that whole 10 million. So
50 million to Steve Dye. It's already been kind of figured out, man.
Yeah, no, Steve. If I'm a billionaire, if I become a billionaire, I guarantee I'll swing you 50 million just to do whatever you want.
Just like give him 2 until he burns through it, then give him another 2.
Yeah, look, we could do it. We could do it in bites if that makes more sense.
However Steve wants it, set him up on an annuity.
Yeah, good trust fund. Turn him into a trust fund, baby.
Whatever he needs, but. Captain Love is where it's at. You guys have gotten to meet Drew. If you weren't aware of his campaign, I'm really glad to see a lot of guys. Somebody clipped that is right. Work campaign attack. Get on that clip, man. I'm glad people got to kind of meet you and talk and hear you talk about Captain Love. I like the Han Solo reference. It's interesting. I think it's a cool series where there are going to be more of these. It's going to take a little while, but the whole thing is going to come out in full as a graphic novel when it's all complete. The individual chapters sound great. Shipping July sounds great. I really like this year. I see people offering campaigns now that are shipping in April of next year, and that's fine. And there's nothing wrong with that. Be upfront with people, but I like when stuff just comes right out. And I like your approach to things too, man. So I could definitely recommend Captain Love. I hope people check it out and back at it whatever tier you can. But I like Drew was saying earlier, you guys are helping us immensely when you're sharing our campaigns, when you subscribe to the channel, when you're clicking that bell for notifications. It is putting us in a much better position. I just broke 1,000 subs, so eventually I'll get monetized. And I don't know exactly what that's going to turn me into. I think that means I get rich immediately. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, we appreciate you guys very much. And the link to back Captain Love is in the description. And Shimura, thanks for sharing all those links. And Tommy, thanks for sharing those links. And Jabba is now a moderator, and we will see what happens to the channel after that. Anything?
Yeah. Also, I do have a YouTube channel. It is
cool.
That you know that, Adam. You've been on.
I do, but what's the name of it?
Yeah, it's the Drew Love. So if you go to youtube.com/the Drew Love, that's how you will find it easiest. Sub to that. We do horror talk on Monday nights. We just recently did an episode of zombies.
I was on it.
Yeah, Adam was on that. So, and let's check that one out.
Everybody was there. That was such a big night. Malin was in the chat. Everybody was there.
Malin and Mandy and all them, they came along and hung out. I wish that would happen more often. It would be more fun.
Yeah, everybody's gonna be doing more and more of that. I see everybody's kind of around each other's channels. We're all building each other up now.
Horror Talk is gonna evolve right now. I'm kind of trying to lock down the format, to a little bit. Because we also we simultaneously stream on Facebook for that. Actually, we get a lot more views from Facebook than we do YouTube, but YouTube has more interaction. So go figure that one. The thing about Horror Talk is we're actually going to start having famous faces from like
cool
movies coming in and talk about what they've been doing and open to career questions, and then directors who have projects that they're working on, you know what I mean, so we can actually show stuff that's not copyright going to strike us.
Turn it into a real platform. That's a great idea.
Well, that was always the plan, but we have to build it in steps. You know what I mean? So right now we're at the step right now where we're just kind of, engaging the Facebook audience and kind of expanding dual platform when we stream and kind of dialing that in. And then I'm going to start reaching out to people I know who are
in that business,
horror actors, people who are in the industry, who
awesome.
have experience doing horror, people who have horror movies to promote, horror movies they're worked on, that kind of stuff. So we're going to be introducing a lot of indie horror to people that have never seen, these projects and stuff.
That's
like
great,
that.
Drew. That kind of stuff is going to help everybody. And if anybody knows any way you can help too, you can hit Drew up on Twitter as well. Drew, your Twitter is what?
It's also the Drew Love. So it'd be twitter.com/the Drew Love. Yes.
Okay, and I'm at Comics We Love. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We'll do something again soon. I love doing a show with Drew. Drew is fun to talk with. Eric Huffles, we're just leaving. What are you doing saying hello? It's great to see you anyway, but we are just leaving. You're going to have to watch the replay, man. But this was a fun one. Definitely check it out, Eric. All right, we will see you guys again soon with another video. And if we don't see you, we'll both miss you, right? You sign on for that, Drew?
I'm definitely on for that.
All right, thanks, brother.